Hello and welcome to LMAO. Yes, I'm Holly, not Elvira, because I have big teeth. Coming to you today from the home studio, which we call the Comedy Hall, HOL. It is my pleasure to introduce you to my funny and talented friend, Mistress K. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Great. How are you today?
Oh my,
I'm loving the hair. Loving it.
thank you. I found this at the bottom of my dog's bed.
Oh, well, your dog is very fortunate then.
It could be that or the bottom of my bathtub because I'm losing so much damn hair because I'm old. Anyways, I love the color of yours. Tell us a little bit more about your hair choice.
Oh my goodness. So, all right. So this is how it really happened. I just was lazy. Well, truth be told, I was helping out a friend. She was a little bit of a hoarder. And she had like wigs on wigs on wigs in her house. And as a joke, I just put one on and I was like, hey, and I just like went into like this crazy character and I was like, yes, girl. I was like loving my hair. And she was just like, she laughed, but then she was like, that looks really good on you, and then I was like, oh, you know what? I kind of like this. And then I went and she took me to the wig store and I bought one wig and I really liked it. And I just felt like a different character when I put it on. Like I just felt like this, I was like this like superpower type of woman. And I was just like, oh, nobody can mess with me because I have my hair and my heels, and equipped with lots of stuff. And yeah, that's how it got started. And I'm like super lazy, so I never have to do my hair, just like take it out of the bag and put it on.
Cool.
And it's funny because a lot of people, they've never seen my natural hair. And when they do, they go, but your hair's so beautiful. Like, why are you covering it up? And I'm like, because it's like, it's me, like personal me. It's not Mistress K.
Yeah,
I was
but
like,
you
so
know
there's
what? I'm gonna
different.
say that your hair is that healthy underneath because you don't put a ton of product in it, or I'm not saying wash it, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that the less you do it, the better hair that you have. And yeah. And I don't think I've ever seen you in the same wig twice. And I was gonna say your friend that was a hoarder was your advantage. Is I thought you said you were gonna say that she gave you all her wigs because they're so expensive.
No, she didn't. But she was also African American, so all her wigs were black, like
Okay.
a shade of black.
Okay.
So I'm a bright colors person.
Yeah.
I like bright colors, and it depends on what I'm wearing. You know
And
what I
what
mean?
kind
If
of
I'm
day you're
wearing
having?
something like really bright colored, then I'll wear like a neutral tone hair.
Yeah, yeah.
But I get attracted to like the bright colors. Like I have a bright blue and pink and
I
kind
love
of crazy stuff. And it's funny because we were at a comedy show on Friday, and I sat down next to this girl that I see all the time. She's a female comic, and she's like, "Oh my god, I love your hair." And she's like, "How do you keep it so red like that?" And I said to her, I said, "Girl, it's a wig." And she's like, "What?" Like she was just like, so then she's like touching my hair, and that's a white people thing when people start touching your head. Because like if it was a black woman, she'd be like, she clocked me coming in, you know what I mean? But yeah, she was like, it's a wig. And then she's like, well, now that I'm really like investigating it, and she's like, oh, okay, I see it. But it was just really funny. She was just like, God, she's like, every time I see you, you got a different hair. Like I just have some glam squad on staff, which I think is hilarious. People think I have that. And I'm
It's like,
like, the last time you saw me, my hair was this short.
yeah.
Now it's this long.
Like
Like what?
cut, makeup, cut, hair, cut. Okay, I'm ready. Boom. You
Yeah.
must have a big purse. Did
Oh
you
yeah.
did your
When I'm
hoarder friend live in Boston? Or
Yes,
oh
she does.
okay.
Yeah. And it was funny because when I moved to California, right, like um I had to leave some of my wigs behind. And I was like, well, I don't really wear these wigs too often, right? And then I was like, I'm just gonna bring my babies. And that was like half my suitcase,
Oh
just my wigs.
yeah.
And it was really funny. And like my father was like, what about all these clothes you got here? And I was like, I could buy more clothes. I need my wigs, like they're my children, I'm like,
Yeah.
I need them.
Yeah, when I moved from Vancouver to New York, of course, I owned a house in the Vancouver area. And I moved into like a small 500 square foot apartment in New York. So when I moved, I had to decide if I was going to bring my vacuum or my golf clubs, and I brought my golf clubs.
That's
So
hilarious. Yeah,
same thing.
like
It's
these
like,
are the necessities in life.
oh yeah, who needs the vacuum? I mean, come on now. So what made you move from Boston to LA?
So I was working as a nurse, and I mean, I always wanted to be, I think I always deep down knew that I wanted to be an entertainer, but where I grew up, it was just like, you grow up to be a lawyer or doctor, you know, or something like that. And but I remember I was putting on shows when I was 4. I'd call my grandmother and grandfather. I'd be like, Nana, Papa, come over. I'm putting on a show. And my dad would be the DJ. He put the music on, and I'd walk down our landing, and I'd have like my mom had like this 80s style gold shirt with like geometric shapes on it with the shoulder pads. And it was like this silvery gold thing. And I remember I tied it so it was like super like tight and cinched on the waist, almost like a dress. And then I was dancing to Madonna, so I had I took my mom's bra and like put socks in it. And I had this purple mohawk wig that my dad bought it because I put on these shows and I was like a little rocker, right? So I had that on, and I came down with my mom's glasses, and I was like a virgin at 4.
You better be. You better
Had no idea what that song meant, but I'd come over and like I'd do this like dance, and I'd like lip sync and whatever. And you know, my sister was young. She was, you know, like 18 months or something at the time. And she'd sit in her little chair and she'd just bounce with me. Like she was kind of like my backup. And it was that like I always liked performing. I never had a problem speaking to anybody or public speaking. When I went to college, public speaking was my favorite class. Like I always loved to get up and talk about whatever it was that we were talking about that week. And when I was in the hospital, you know, like again, I was always the class clown. I was always making people laugh, natural born storyteller. I think I get that from my family. And my patients, they would always be laughing, and all the nurses that I worked with, they loved when I was on shift because I'd always make them laugh, and we were working overnight. So again, when you're working in a critical care setting where people are dying and it's not like the best of times, when you have humor or laughter, it makes the time go by quicker, and you can spread a little joy where there usually is none. So you know, I remember one of my nurse managers, she was just like, you know, you're really funny, you know, you get all the patients laughing. And I was just like, well, you know, no offense, but they have brain injuries. Not really my target audience, you know, like, you know, like you don't really have to try too hard with people that like are missing part of their brain, you know, like to make them laugh. But
that's great. I was going to say laughter saves lives or extends their lives, but yeah, if they had brain injuries.
Yeah. And then I had this one patient, he was a quadriplegic, and he was a young guy. He was like 33. He had got hit by this 18-wheeler and basically just creamed on the side of the road and survived. But mentally, his brain was totally like, he had all the facilities in terms of his mind. It's just he was a quadriplegic, so his body did not function. He was totally paralyzed from the neck down. So he couldn't do what he wanted, but his brain was still there. So I remember he just came to our facility to die. Like he just wanted to die. He was so depressed. He was just like, you know, it's like, I lost my job. He's like a big time engineer in Boston. He's like, I lost my job. His boyfriend had broke up with him because of this. You know, he was just like, I got to keep living my life, you know, that type of thing. And like his friends would come visit, but it was like it was a rarity, you know. And he had like the Cadillac of all Cadillac like wheelchairs. And I'm like, listen, honey, you got this wheelchair. I'm like, we'll pimp your ride. I was like, we'll put some rainbow streamers on it and go outside and da da da. And I would just make him laugh. And he was just like, you know, you're a godsend. He's like, I look forward to you being here. He's like, you're like my only friend here. And he was just like, you're so funny. We watched RuPaul's Drag Race. And I'd be like, yeah, Queen. I was like, sister that walk. And like, I'd just do all this crazy stuff late at night, and we'd stay up laughing. And he said to me, he was just like, you need to be an entertainer. You're just so natural at, like, you just don't care, and whatever. And
Just go do it.
yeah, and I was like, yeah, I know, like, people told me that, and like in my side gig, I would do that and it was okay. But when he died, and knowing that, like, I was working in a critical care facility where all these people had lives that just stopped abruptly, right? And I was just like, if I don't live for me and make a change in my life to be happy, then I'm never going to be it. And then, like, I'm a person that can make that change. These people cannot.
Yeah.
Like, their lives are already snubbed out. So he kind of influenced me in that way. And it just kind of happened where my sister already lived in California, so I was like, I'm gonna come out and live with you on your couch until I, like, get, see if this thing works. And told my boss, I was like, yeah, like, thanks for the opportunity, but I'm out. Like, I'm gonna be a star in California. And everybody's like, yeah.
That's a great story, though. You make difference in so many people's lives, and he helped you realize that you needed to get up and get her done, which you did.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're doing it. You're kicking butt.
Yeah, I was so unhappy there, like, I was overweight. I didn't have anybody in my life except for, I mean, I had my friends and my family, but I wasn't with anybody, and I don't have children, so I had nothing tying me down. So I was like, why not? And I don't regret that decision at all. If anything, I regret not doing it sooner.
Yeah.
Because now I'm like the old chick going to the open mics instead of the young chick.
But you have all the experience. You're helping others too. So you continue to give back. You continue to give. So that's awesome. That's great. Thank you so much for sharing that story. That's so inspirational.
Yeah.
My goodness. Wow, that's a lot. Good for you. Well, I want to know where on social media. I know you're everywhere, your presence, because I watch you. So where can we find you, stalk you on social media?
Sure. So I'm on Instagram. It's Mistress K5, because can you imagine there's more than one of us? So it's Mistress K5 on Instagram. I have an amazing YouTube channel. It's called Hooked Up with Mistress K. A lot of my comedy's on there and other stuff. And I also just started a brand new YouTube channel with my friend. It's called The Comics You Need. And that's like more sketch comedy and what it's like to be a comic and our journeys together as friends in comedy. And also with my partner, Ashley Rose, we started a company called The Future is Female Comedy Show. And we are a feminist show that puts not only, women in the forefront, but also men. I know it's called Future is Female, but we sprinkle the men in from here to there, so it's FIF Comedy Show on the gram. We've got lots of shows coming up. We have our show at the Comedy Chateau in North Hollywood on Friday. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. We have a show today, which nobody will come to because this won't get out in time. We have our Zoom show on May 10th. So May 10th, you can check us out, and Holly will be on the show as well. $5 make you holla all day. And we have a show on May 11th at the Sunset Rooftop Hookah Lounge in Hollywood, California. And then we are at Knuckleheads on May 14th in San Clemente. And then again on the 28th at Knuckleheads in San Clemente. So lots of shows.
Lots of shows. I'm sure your calendar is somewhere on your social media. So if you can't remember all those dates, rewind it and write them down, or check out Mistress K's social media. All right, not to put you on the spot, but I know you're funny, you're genuine, and you're talented, and you're just an entertainer all the way around. So I want you to end us off with one of your go-to jokes that you'll finish off a show with.
Trying to think. That one's really not appropriate, but I'll give you this one.
Yeah,
I'll give you this one. So I'm what's known as the alpha female. Drink it in. And essentially, folks, what that means is you don't hurt me. I hurt you. And then you pay me for it. So that's just a little bit of me and my comedy.
You're amazing. I really appreciate you being on the show, and I look forward to meeting you in person soon, which we have.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Texas. Woo!
Texas, end of June. Mistress K will be here with the LMAO taping at Six Springs Tavern. So we look forward to that. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is great.
You're so welcome. All right. This has been LMAO with Holly, not Elvira, with my special guest, Mistress K. We wish you a pleasurable day and rest of the week. Take care. That's awesome. I'm trying to stop it. Okay, good job.